is going to be basically the same. I apologize because we don't have all night to ask all the questions that everybody wants, but I think what you're going to hear tonight will probably give you a fair idea of what to expect.
Just 1 second, please. Yeah.
I'm going to start with Mr. Crane and work this way. Would you introduce yourself and describe the functions of the State Insurance Commissioner? Okay, we're ready.
My name is Mitch Crane. I served under Matt Den as a regulatory specialist and under current commissioner also as acting director of consumer services. The insurance department has many functions. The prime responsibilities are to license and regulate all insurance companies, adjusters, agents, and appraisers who wish to do business in the state of Delaware, to approve or disapprove rate increases, to conduct investigations based on complaints against those same companies and producers, to regulate the fraud division, to deal with issues of consumer fraud against insurance companies, workplace safety, and to represent consumers by proposing and lobbying legislation to the legislature to promote what is best for the consumers of Delaware.
Paul?
Same question?
Yes, sir.
Oh. I'm Paul Gallagher, lifelong resident of Delaware, Salesianum High School, University of Delaware, and the insurance department does main function is to protect the consumer. Also, it licenses agents, licenses companies, makes sure those companies and agents are compliant in the state, make sure there's no fraud committed. And the insurance department also brings in a lot of funds to the state. There's insurance premium taxes that are charged, all the premiums that we pay that comes in, and that money is used to generate the funds for the insurance department, and the excess funds go back to the state. So the insurance department has many functions, but the most important function is to protect the consumer from fraud.
Thank you. Mr. Spivack.
Well, you've heard, I'm not going to add to what you've already heard because...
Can you introduce yourself?
Oh, Dennis Spivack. I'm a third of 4 candidates for State Insurance Commissioner. You've heard the statutory statement as to the job of State Insurance Commissioner and what the office functions. But really, almost like Governor Markell did with the Treasurer's Office, the vision is much too limited. The scope of the powers can be much greater an insurance commissioner if the insurance commissioner has the ability, the leadership ability to go forward and the vision. For instance, as I see it, you're dealing, first of all, in the coming months and coming years, we are going to have problems dealing in 2 areas. One is what I call business insurance. The other is health insurance. And that somehow has to be dealt with as almost 2 separate departments. On the health insurance side, the first thing I want to make sure is even with the adoption of the Affordable Care Act, there are about 11 million people who fall through the cracks. And I want to make sure that somebody's at the helm of the Insurance Commissioner's Office who understands the Act and its ambiguities, and also can try to take that Act, mesh it with state programs, and then work with other entities like the Delaware Medical Society to fill in the gaps. That's the first thing I want to do. Everybody in this state is going to be covered, and people with special needs especially are going to be covered. And by that I mean seniors, veterans who are poorly covered, and senior citizens.
Thank you.
Folks, when I put it up like this, you have 1 minute. When I put it up, stop, you stop.
Next.
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me? I have a very soft voice.
Yes.
I think maybe I'll stand because I know I'm soft. My name's Karen Weldin-Stewart. I am your current insurance commissioner, I've been very pleased to serve you for the last 3 years as your commissioner. So the question was, what is the functionality of the department? The department has seven departments within inside itself. It has consumers, which is the most important. We are your advocate. We are not your lobbyists. We are your advocate. We are there to fight for you, and I have done so and have proven. Every year we serve about 7,000 consumers that call my office. In the first 3 years of my serving as your insurance commissioner, I recovered $6 million for Delawareans that have had complaints against their insurance companies. We also have the fraud unit. The fraud unit oversees insurance fraud and has been very active. We seized 30 companies last year because they were selling discount cards as insurance. We also have rate and forms where we look over and approve the rates that insurance companies are charging. We also have Elder Info, which we serviced last year 4.4 thousand seniors in the state of Delaware. Market conduct is where we oversee when insurance companies are not obeying the laws. Since I've been commissioner during the first 3 years, we've recovered $3.3 million, which was given to the state of Delaware. I've issued the largest fines in the state against insurance companies that did not obey our laws. Also, we have company regulation where we oversee and have become the 10th largest state in the United States. We write over $47 billion, the insurance companies that we regulate, and the assets that they have that we oversee are over $479 billion. The companies we oversee are not just are definitely not located in the state of Delaware. They're located all over the United States and the globe. Thank you.
Okay, now, listen to the next question, the way I'm gonna phrase it. If you are not the current commissioner, what would you do to improve the office? If you are the current commissioner, what would you do in addition to what you've already done? Mr. Gallagher.
To improve the office, one of the things I would like to do is the people down there now that answer consumer phone calls, they are not licensed agents. And I would like to see the people that deal directly with the consumer have an agent's license. Now, I wouldn't put these people out of a job. The same people could stay in those jobs. However, they should get an agent's license and learn the ins and outs of people's policies. When people call down there, they want service, they want help. And I think the people that take these calls need to be better trained. And I think, looking over the department, I think that's really important because I have sent people down there to discuss issues recently, and they've been sent away, saying it's not in their jurisdiction. I don't think they understand the questions that they're getting from the insureds when they call in and need help. So I would make sure that the people taking consumer phone calls are much better trained than they are now.
Mr. Spivack.
First thing I would do is basically move in the direction of what I call relentless leadership. I think all of the people in the insurance commissioner's office need to be brought together. And there are some very, very good and qualified division heads who've done a marvelous job. But I want to tell them, look, we have to do an even better job. And I want to say for the people, I hate to talk about people as consumers. You sound like a widget. So for the people, that's what I want to do. I want to tell them that they do not have to be afraid to talk to me, to criticize me, and that I want to initiate an outreach program where we, the office, go out in a very extensive fashion, much more than's ever been thought of, into the churches, into the civic centers, community centers, into the senior centers, to listen to what the issues are that people have. What are the problems they're experiencing with auto, with home, with health, with filing claims? This is what I do. This is how I campaign. I campaign to listen. And the people of this state continue to teach me what the problems are that they are grappling with and will grapple with.
Thank you. Ms. Stewart.
Thank you. My office is moving in the direction of transparency, which is something I advocate And we've been doing that through rate filings. If you look at our website, which we've improved and enhanced, it will show you what your rates are and what your insurance companies are asking for. You can see very clearly that on your health insurance, for instance, since we passed legislation to regulate, deny, and approve health insurance rates, that I've saved Delawareans $1.4 million last year. And you can see the graphs that will show you what the insurance companies asked for, what was justified, and what additional savings I've given to Delawareans. We're also doing that for auto and for home insurance, and it will also be for all lines of business. My employees in my consumer services area are trained professionals. They've all worked in the insurance industry and in the consumer service areas in most insurance companies, and they receive additional training. We have meetings every month with my consumer groups, and we go over all the cases and we track it. We've added enhancements to our computer systems. So we do take very seriously what we do for consumers, and we feel that our track record's been very good. Also, we do sit down with our directors of all the departments, and we have meetings constantly, and constant training and constant communications. And we're out in the senior centers, we're out in the fairs, and we're out all over the state meeting with consumers, going right to their level to try and help them with their issues or let them know what the insurance department does. And we will continue to do that as we have been doing that for the 3 years that I've been in office. Thank you.
Mr. Crane.
I would turn the clock back to the way this department was operated when Matt Dent was insurance commissioner, and add to that one factor he never had, a Democratic-controlled state house. Then we would push through the legislation to finally ban the use of credit scoring and the rating of all policies, to end age discrimination against senior drivers who should not be charged more just because they reach a birthday, and discrimination against women of childbearing years and the issuance of individual and small group health insurance policies, and the practice of having the captive bureau in Wilmington run by cronies out of Chicago being paid $205,000 a year. Filled the positions in the department that have gone vacant for the last 4 years, finally go back to having hearings on a regular basis against companies that violate our law, not only have the right to approve or disapprove health insurance and other rate increases, but actually disprove them once in a while. Go out and recruit more companies to come into the state so we don't end up with no insurance companies but one in the state. Coventry just got bought out by Aetna. You know what happened to Blue Cross. And I take what the commissioner said, $47 million in business done by insurance companies licensed in the state, and say, well, then you got to get something back to the people of this state. And that all can be accomplished in one term.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now the last question will also be concluded by your closing. We'll start with Mr. Crane.
It includes their
Do we
closing?
respond, a closing of the answer, and then start with our closing? Or is it,
Respond to what?
well, I mean, how many minutes do we have for the answer?
We've got 2 more minutes, and then we're gonna,
So we have to answer the question and close in 2 minutes.
and you will find the question will be rather easy if you know the subject.
Thank you.
There was a news article that appeared in the News Journal about the governor's second veto. Can you address the veto of House Bill 387?
You need to tell us what
Yeah, I
that
mean,
was. Yeah, we've all been
Yeah.
campaigning for a year, sir.
It was a municipal pension issue, and it relates to the function of the insurance department.
I need more information than that. I apologize.
No idea.
That was such a microscopic issue that I think it's more of a political issue that is dealt with at the governor's level and the legislature. This is why you need a strong insurance commissioner, because if something like this were to take place and they're trying to fool around with state pensions and give people in the city a greater pension than they deserve. It was done at night. Nobody knew what was happening. And I applaud the governor for vetoing the bill, for for taking the time to understand what the implications were, because really it meant screwing all the state employees who have pensions. And that's not going to happen. That's why you need a strong insurance commissioner. You think your pensions as state employees are safe? The answer is no. As soon as this election is over, they can be tinkered with. And also, we have to make sure that the health care plan is not caught like the house that we're talking about, caught in the middle in politics. We have to depoliticize the health care issue so that we can address it in a pragmatic fashion so that it works for all people in this state.
Thank you.
387, deals with an issue that has been going back and forth since probably 1972 when we first passed the legislation to allow the insurance commissioner's premium tax to be carved out for police, fire, volunteers, and ambulance. The retired police officers in Wilmington, because Wilmington is a professional service, we give to the pension funds the premium tax that we have from our give to the state. We give about $106 million a year to the state, part of which is carved out to give to volunteer fire and ambulance. What's been happening because the city of Wilmington has not been able to match their portion, the money that my office transfers to the treasurer's office has been sitting there, not being given to the pension fund, and then it converts back to the state. For years now, it's been an issue, and the legislature for years, and I do mean years, this has gone on for at least when I was a deputy at the department, which was over 20 years ago, was an issue also. We're trying to get so that the city, we can waive the city's matching funds. But it was not discussed with the governor ahead of time. It passed the House and Senate finally. And when it got to the governor's desk, he had 3 issues with it. One is, the last person standing, would they get a multi-million-dollar windfall? And the pension, I would go through the pension office, and then also the matching funds, because all the other municipalities in the state do have some matching funds. So the governor vetoed this the other day. I know it's going to go back in when we have a new General Assembly in January, and I offered that my office will work.
Okay, now we're going to go for a 30-second close.
Okay.
Wait a minute, do you want to give them a little more since they didn't answer anything before? Okay.
Okay. I want to thank everybody for letting me serve as your commissioner. I hope you let me serve you for another term. I love my job. It's the only job I know of that you get up every morning and go to work, and you know you're going to help somebody, but you might help thousands. I have denied ratings. It's not true that I haven't, because I have. And Senator Margaret Rose Henry would be very sad to learn that she didn't ban credit scoring when she passed her law in 2007, which is when we did ban credit scoring in our state, and we have the 4th strongest law in the United States. We're one of 4 states.
Stop.
Oh, okay. Starting now, all right. I think this is both a perilous time that we're facing, but a very exciting time, because the next insurance commissioner in this state will basically be heavily involved in shaping healthcare policy, not only for the state, but I think it will be a model for other states and the nation, because we're going to have such a good system, including a safety net. And I get it. I'm the only one of these candidates that gets it. From my personal experiences with family members being ill and having my own refusals from...
I want to thank you all for having me here tonight. I want to thank you for coming. I want to say that I have 36 years experience in insurance. That's more experience than these 3 people sitting here combined.
Not true.
It's true.
Not true.
It's true. I've worked 36 years.
That'll stick to the minutes. Come on, moving on.
In insurance. I've got license. I'm the only person up here that's got an insurance license, and I'm probably the only person sitting up here that's actually read an insurance policy from front to back. I know exactly what the citizens of Delaware need. I work with it on a daily basis. I'm still a full-time insurance agent. I see what my clients go through every day, the problems they face every day. I'm sure a lot of this stuff you heard here tonight, you didn't understand. Well, you understand that bill when you open it up each month and you cut it open and you see your car insurance or your home insurance or your life insurance. That's important to me to make sure everybody in this state is covered properly. Thank you.
I've been a practicing trial lawyer since graduating from Widener in 1977, and I was honored to have been an elected judge in Westchester for 6 years before I moved down to work for Matt Den. I'm not looking for a job, I want to do a job. I know exactly what has to be done in this department, I know how to do it, and I know I can get it done. I'm proud to be the endorsed candidate of the Democratic Party of Delaware, as well as Delaware State Education Association, and endorsed by the best legislators we have, from Senator Karen Peterson, Dave Sokola, down to Mike Barbieri and John Paul, Earl Jakes, and I can go on, and Majority Leader Pete Schwarzkopf, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you all for attending.